AMD, yesterday, we were talking about how if it broke, right, either it was going to bounce off the gap or it's going to break. You can see right here, we broke, right? And immediately you had a very large bearish impulse. So I guess those 14 million puts that did come into AMD, right, they did pretty well in timing this move down. So the gap hasn't filled yet. Generally, what tends to happen is the entire gap fills before it can, continue to move higher. Not always, but 90% of the time. So be watchful for that. The gap fills at 108.52. That's where AMD gap is done. And AMD, the gap isn't completely filled, right? But as I mentioned earlier in the call, right, it doesn't have to completely fill this gap, but chasing it, right, trying to chase it without filling that 108 gap is risky. So though I do think, yes, it can bounce, but I do firmly believe that at some point, right, it will probably come down and fill its 108 gap before it has the next big leg higher. This could just be like $1 or $2 bounce. So yeah, just be careful. I would ideally wait for it to break, right? Let it have a bullish day, right? There's no reason to chase it. Like if it can get over 118, then it could be a decent long. But yeah, as you can see here, the gap doesn't fill till 108 on AMD.
It's not. I wouldn't chase AMD long. It's so close to coming into this value area that, let it test 109.55 before even attempting another long. I'm not taking AMD long. Even though it is green, it's not a long for me. AMD is red. AMD going to 109. AMD it needs to test this 109.53. Then I am waiting. This is the place I would really, really like it come test this 97.9, which is the yearly point of control for higher into the next half. Before earnings, if it can get to this, that would be really awesome for a nice come here, come back down to the yearly point of control, and then it can get to there has been a lot of 140 October calls coming in yesterday. Okay, huge number of calls came in for October. So this and then to this 140 would be perfect structure. So that's what I'm looking. See, you can see the number of contracts here that came in. 22,000 open interest has become now. And today still people are coming for this 140. So yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Like I said, AMD 112, right? It was green. I'm like, it goes to this 109.50. So that's a better MTC play, AMD short from 112 to 109.50.